This is the new Isuzu Grafter Green, Isuzu's brand new Euro 6 cab over 3.5 tonner. Why is it green, I hear you ask? Well, the important thing is it's not blue, and by that I mean there is no AdBlue. Why is there no AdBlue? Well, for one, having no AdBlue means it's cheaper and easier to maintain, but importantly it means that Isuzu have been able to downsize the engine from their 3 litre of old to a new 1.9 litre engine. So let's take a look at that new engine. So this is it, the new engine. 1.9 litres, 123 horsepower, 320 newton meters of torque, 4-cylinder engine. Also, brand new 6-speed gearbox and, this is very important, new independent front suspension. So as well as that new downsized engine, the other important feature is the new independent front suspension. There's coil springs and rack and pinion steering, which is really important because it makes it a lot more like a conventional van. So this is Isuzu's drive-away aluminium body tipper. There's also a drop side, and if you want something a bit more elaborate, you can always talk to your dealer about what they can do. As it's a tipper, it also needs some tipping gear. So this is an electro-hydraulic tipping system. It's also got a 1.2 ton payload capacity. But if you want something bigger, there's another option. So, as you can see, it's quite a lot bigger, but that's because it's a 7.5 tonner. It's also 300 millimeters wider, which is why it looks so big. It's a tipper, just like this one, but it's got a 3.5 ton payload capacity, which means we can actually fit a fully laden one of these in the back of it. It's a new Euro 6 engine, but it's the same 3 litre capacity with 150 horsepower. It's also got leaf springs. Isuzu will sell you one of these as a box body, with a tail lift or as a drop side. So the important thing about the Isuzu Grafter Green is that engine, downsizing from 3 litres to 1.9. A lot of you will probably be very sceptical about that. It is quite a big step down, but importantly it's the same power output. So 123 horsepower and 320 newtons of torque is that's actually a slight increase over the old model. So, does it make a difference? Well, we're unladen, it's a little bit harder to say. I'd say it's just about enough power. But, you know, importantly, it's going to save fuel. 3 litres is probably too much. The other big change is the steering. This is actually a lot better. It's still a bit light for my liking, but then for off-road manoeuvrability, that's probably a good thing. Is it an improvement overall? Yes. It's more van-like, therefore, you know, you feel like you can drive it a lot better. We'll go around a corner here and look, I mean, it goes where I want it to go, which is something the old one didn't really do. It's more responsive and you just can feel like you can actually drive it a lot better. And that is also to do with that new suspension. So the coil springs make it a much smoother ride. It obviously isn't going to be the smoothest of vehicles because it's a cab over, so it is bouncy naturally anyway. And as we're unladen, those leaf springs at the back do make it a bit bouncy. But it is noticeable the difference between this and a leaf sprung front solid beam. What else do I need to tell you about the Isuzu Grafter Green? Well, the gearbox, that is a big change as well. 6-speed manual now. The old 5-speed was a bit of an odd one. It had a dogleg first gear, so you'd be down and in basically where second is on a conventional H-pattern box. Fortunately that's gone because that was an absolute nightmare. Now it's a conventional 6 H-pattern. So we've got first in the right place and second, third and fourth, and they're much more usable because you don't have to fight to get it into that first gear. So we can just use all the gears at all speeds, which is great. And finally, in the interior there's been a few changes. There's a nice snazzy new seat fabric, and this rather natty red belt to make sure that everybody in the gatehouse or wherever you're leaving your premises can see that you're wearing your seatbelt. As for the rest of it, well, the cabin is largely unchanged. It's just the familiar utilitarian, functional design of old. But you've got great wing mirrors and excellent forward visibility. And one last thing I should probably mention is the suspension seat. It's now adjustable for drivers of up to 130 kilograms and it's got a little dial between my legs that you can change the weight with there. It's great, it works really, really well. So there you have it, the Isuzu Grafter Green. A smaller engine with the same power but better fuel economy. It's 100 kilos lighter for an improved payload. Oh, and it's green, not blue.